Runnemede Board of Education meeting is called to order. The Board of Education is in compliance with Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of 1975, entitled the Open Public Meetings Act. The time, date, and location of this meeting was appropriately advertised by notifying in retrospect, as well as posting notices in the Borough Hall, Runnemede Post Office, Mary Vold School, Alliant Bingham School, Grace Downing School, and the Runnemede Public School District website. Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, board members.
Ms. Adair.
Here.
Ms. Beebe.
Here.
Mr. Buckheim.
Here.
Ms. Davidson.
Here.
Mr. Lego.
Here.
Mr. Murray.
Here.
Ms. Panzarella.
Here.
Ms. Sams.
Here.
Ms. Spalding.
Here.
Move forward.
Also present, Mark Iannucci, Superintendent, Dr. Sean McCarron, Business Administrator and Director of Curriculum, Mr. Steve Gilly, Principal of Old School, Mr. Steve Maloney, Vice Principal of Old School, Ms. Gladys Hubbard, Director of Special Education, and Mr. Frank Hines, Supervisor of Building and Grounds. Just wanted to let the board know that Mrs. Yezzi contacted me last month that she had a prior engagement and could not make it this evening. At this time, I need a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes for November 19.
I'll make a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes from the 19th of November.
Motion made by Maria,
Second.
seconded by Patty. Any questions on the minutes? Roll call.
Ms. Adair.
Yes.
Ms. Beebe.
Yes.
Mr. Buckheim.
Yes.
Ms. Davidson.
I have to abstain, wasn't here.
Mr. Lego.
Yes.
Mr. Murray.
Yes.
Ms. Panzarella.
Yes.
Ms. Sams.
Yes.
Ms. Spalding.
Yes.
Motion passes.
So Dr. McCarron, correct me if I'm wrong, you're going to do the audit presentation during your...
Yes.
Okay. So there's no correspondence. At this time, we are open for public comment on agenda items. Does anyone have any questions or comments on agenda items? No, if not, then we will hear from Mr. Iannucci, Superintendent report.
Okay, just a few things. District enrollment is the same, 857 students. Just an update on the pre-K expansion. As we talked, I believe, the last committee meeting for facilities, we will be expanding to another pre-K3 classroom next year as part of the grant requirement that we have to have. That will we'll have now 2 pre-K3 programs, and they'll both be full day, beginning of 2020-2021 school year. The current room for that we're looking at is the current health clinic down here in C Wing, which has access, to a water for bathrooms that we have to put in, and also we'll be taking up part of the archives room as well, to give us that required 850 square feet that we have to have. So we'd have to relocate some of those archive things, but we're also looking to shift some of those archive documents and to be scanned, so it's kept electronically rather than keeping all those papers.
If you don't mind. There is also 2 models for preschool where you can have a 3 program and a 4 program. The other model is also a blended model where it's 3 4s combined, where you might have a few 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds in the same room together, and then those students would continue on. Either way, it would be a model where we would have 30 3-year-olds, and then you would have currently, like we do, 75 4-year-olds. So we're actually not increasing the number of students, but we're expanding everyone to full day, which is why we have to add that additional classroom. So right now, the debate that we're going back and forth between is if we do a 3 only and a 4 only, or if we do a blended 3-4. One of the benefits to doing a blended 3-4 is when it comes to special education and the requirements we have to meet. We have a lot more flexibility with the 3-4 model than we do with the 3-4s that we would be locked into.
Explain. I don't like...
So the classrooms are limited to 5 special education spots per
all right,
room.
5.
So depending on the year,
Okay.
in some cases, you
Yeah.
might have 7 special education students in between your 2 rooms. In other years, you might have 14. So as a district, if we only have 10 spots for 2 3-year-old classrooms, you would then, if you had 4 additional students, the district would not have spaces for them technically. So that's why we're looking between the models to see which one would work best for the district and kind of looking at what other options are available.
I have another question. Is there any local school districts that currently blend 3 and 4-year-olds together?
Yes.
Where?
My home district does.
Where?
In Mercer.
Anyone else?
Millville, Vineland, a lot of school districts that have had the model in place for a
The
while.
grant, like the lot of
Yes.
the, you mean like a lot of the school districts who received the grant?
Right.
Or a lot of the school districts that are, their population mirrors our population?
But a lot, I can get you that information.
Okay. Do you understand why I'm questioning that?
I do, however,
Like, let me ask you this question. Would you consider doing that to open up more spots for the children in the community? Is that like a thing? Is that what you're going with? Would you consider blending the classrooms because that would open more spots?
so here's what I'll say, if you have a 3-4 model and you don't fill all your 4 spots, we have to fill our program.
Right.
That's a part of receiving the grant.
Right.
So let's say for our 4-year-old program, we have 75 spots, and we don't get 75 students. I would then be able to open up to
More
3-year-olds
spots.
to allow those 3-year-olds in. I would want to make sure that I'd be able to roll those 3-year-olds into the 4-year-old spots for the following year.
Right.
Do you get what I'm saying?
I understand.
But it then also gives you flexibility from that perspective, because we would be able to ensure the fact that we're filling all of our spots within the district.
I would be interested to see how many districts do that, if you could do some
I can get
research
that
on that for me.
information. Sure.
Thanks.
Jim-
Sorry.
It's okay. Sorry about that. Gym floor replacement. We went out for bid for the gym floor, for the abatement process, as we explained, that's gonna be multiple levels to that, as far as removal of the gym floor. It has to have environmental oversight, that we discussed a couple of months ago, plus the floor installation and different things that have to go on. So that, we have, I think, how many, seven?
Doesn't mean that yet, 7.
Seven different bids or whatever, so we have to figure out that in the near future and for the abatement process to start. Yes, sir.
I would imagine the state would not allow companies to any longer sell flooring that has mercury in it or the adhesive material being used to have mercury in it.
It stopped even when the gym floor was done.
Okay.
It already
Alright.
stopped. Yep.
Thank you.
So that's gonna be a long project, we're looking to begin that in June,
June.
of 2020. It's gonna be a pretty lengthy project. It's not, we've had projects going on here before, so it's not something we're not used to, but it is gonna be, taking up a good chunk of the summer as far as getting that finished. But we'll keep you posted on that as well. If you notice, if you're being with Dennis, we've got here, both the buddy benches were installed recently. I think the caution tape, Frank, is off the buddy benches, correct, for the most part?
For the most part,
For the
yeah.
most part, if there was caution tape in front of the buddy, we just don't want people, because they weren't secured yet.
Just want to make sure they cured up before,
Yeah, the cement and everything was.
with all the rain and everything.
So we didn't mess up with this weather, The concept of the buddy bench, if I'm having a bad day at recess and I go sit down on the buddy bench because nobody's playing with me, Mrs. Stamps might recognize that, come over and, hey, you want to go play, whatever. So we're trying to increase, students identifying, when things aren't going great. So we're excited about that. They're all being used. I've seen some adults using them as well, so.
I'm sitting on that bench every day.
Mid-year budget review took place last week with the county office. That review covers enrollment, facilities, budget, and curriculum. They gave us informal feedback at the meeting, positives, some suggestions, some things we could do, some things to look at. Nothing alarming or anything like that. And they'll give us a formal feedback letter coming up in the near future. Just district events, I think you probably read the principal's reports, the doubleheader of basketball. I don't think we fared too well in either game. However, it was a nice turnout. The kids did a great job, represented their teams very well. Holiday concert, very well attended last week over at Triton High School. We thank them for letting me use the facility. And the holiday committee is busy distributing gifts that we collected over the last several weeks from not only faculty members and parents and things like that, but other organizations in the community that contribute to that. So recognize them for all their efforts. Interact did a great job helping out and continue to help out with that, so we're excited about that. And check out everything, I know they post a lot of stuff on social media, and send some stuff out as well. So that's all I have.
Any questions for Mr. Amici? Dr. McCarron?
Okay, so, as Mr. Angie said, the bid went out, we've had 7 people pick up the bid packet. Many of those people might not actually be people who want to bid on it, but it could be construction companies or research companies that want information regarding the bid. The bid is for the abatement of the flooring, meaning the removal of the flooring that has mercury compounds within it. There is no company under state contract currently that does abatement of that flooring, which is why we're going out for bid. In terms of installing the flooring, there are companies that do install the gym flooring that are under state contract. So our goal would be is to go out for bid, find a company and secure that company for the abatement of the flooring, and then have a company under state contract come in to install the gymnasium flooring once the abatement's done. As Mr. Iannucci said, that'll be taking place over the first part of the summer months. And I think, Frank, what did they say the average time was? Didn't they say 3 weeks from start to finish for that piece to get done?
For the mercury to be done, and then.
And then the
gym
flooring
floor.
install would happen after.
Just to let anybody know in the audience regarding, if you haven't followed us, we did test our gym floor at Gold School last year. We did come back with low levels of the mercury compound that was used as an adhesive, I believe, for it. So at no time were students exposed to high levels of mercury and like that, but the board and administrative decided it's our best interest not to take any chances with it, so that's why we are looking to replace that coming up this summer.
A question for you, Sean. Is it similar to asbestos where you have an oversight to watch the removal?
Yes,
So that's it's environmental person.
correct. However, I think because everything is so new, that you don't have anyone who has contracted that out under state contracts, which is why we had to bid that out separately.
So he'll be here to watch the process of removal.
Correct. Before, after, and during, they'll be following this. We're in full preparation of the 2021 budget, so that's looking at what we're currently focused on doing. Of course, our summer projects are a large chunk of that to start the year off. In terms of curriculum, we are looking as a district at our language arts curriculum and what things are needed and what will help us in terms of filling in any gaps that we feel there are within the curriculum to best meet the needs of our students. I've been to several data workshops over the past month, and we're also looking at bringing in a program that houses all that data. So we have NJSL Ed, we have attendance, we have behavioral, we have our benchmark data. So looking at a program that will actually bring all that data together for us and provide instant information for staff members to look at our benchmark data compared to NJSLA, compared to attendance, so we can make quicker, be able to see quicker trends and address those things more immediately. Creating subgroups, whether it be our gifted and talented, our intervention students, our students who attend our summer program, and kind of see how those students fare in different areas. So we're looking forward to looking towards doing that. And then of course, now is the time where we set up with test preparation for state assessments, whether that's our special education DLM testing or NJSLA, working with all of our teachers, child study team, principals, to ensure that all those accommodations that students receive are there. This year we just closed out completely our audit for the end of June 2019. So our auditors completed that. Within the audit, there were no audit findings in any of the areas for this year, as there hasn't really been in years prior. One thing I will point out, if you look at the main numbers that we look at is excess surplus, maintenance reserves, and capital reserves. One thing we always talk about with excess surplus is not everyone always understands, is in a school district, one of the ways in which we're able to do our large projects is through surplus, because if without that surplus, we don't have money to then put into our capital reserve accounts. So it's the money that we end our school year with that hasn't been spent, that then allows us, in June of every year, the board makes does a resolution that allows us to put up to a certain amount of dollars into our maintenance and our capital reserves. Maintenance are for day-to-day maintenance of the buildings. So the maximum we can have based on our square footage is $699,000 in maintenance reserves. The maximum we can spend is it comes out to be a little bit over $199 that we can spend each year and put within our budget to use towards maintenance projects. And that's they're very specific. Those aren't construction, that's not, updates, it's fixing things that are currently in place that we're able to use, so we can purchase supplies and different things, so we always want to maintain that. When we talk about the gymnasium flooring and the updates that we've done to the school, whether it be new flooring throughout classrooms, new flooring in the library, all the projects that you see take place over the summer months and all the updates that we've done to the buildings, that is all coming out of our capital reserves. So when we talk about excess surplus and the money that's there, in some districts, that money doesn't get spent, and they build that up tremendously. One thing I've tried to make note to everyone is we've always had a little bit of money left in capital reserves. This year, we will not have that money left in capital reserves in this upcoming budget. With the gymnasium flooring that's taking place and with the updates we're doing to facilities for the pre-K, to add in that bathroom, that money will pretty much be completely expended. So I just want to make sure everyone is aware of that as we go into the 2021 budget. And that's not a bad thing. I just want everyone to, I want to make sure we're all on the same page with that. So the auditors had no findings. Of course, they were more than willing to come out. If anyone has any questions regarding the audit, they said to please reach out to them. I know they reached out to Ms. Spalding individually as the representative to the board to ask her questions that tie in with the audit. But of course, if there's any questions regarding the audit, please let me know. And as I said, there was nothing that they had to report out of all of the areas that they audit. So they audit all areas, student activities, our day-to-day finances. They pull hundreds of purchase orders to check to make sure we follow the right protocol, to make sure all purchasing, as a purchasing agent for the district, that I followed my guideline as far as what I'm permitted to do, that when we bid things out, I can tell you right now, the bid that we do and everything we collect will be one of the first things that they take to review. So they are looking at everything. So if you have any questions regarding the audit, please let me know. If I don't have the answer, I can absolutely get you the answer for the audit. Questions? And you will be approving this under finances, just that you accept and acknowledge the audit for ending June 30th, 2019.
Anybody have any questions?
No, I have a comment. Thank you again to the admin because it's rare
Got no
in years
findings.
past that there's no findings. Just saying, again, total acclamation that our
Not just admin, there's a lot of hardworking ladies up in that office too,
listen,
that we have with
they
that.
are back cars, let's say, you know that? They're awesome.
I agree.
During relocation.
Did you have anything else to add, curriculum or?
Nope, I'm all
No?
good.
All right, no. So the principals, nurses, building and ground reports, and special education reports were attached. Does anyone have any questions on them? No? Okay. Any committee reports at this time? Does anyone have anything? Mr. Buckheim?
At this month's Camden County Educational Services Commission, the only thing I wanted to bring to the attention of the board was a policy that we had a first reading to adopt. An employee for the commission filed a complaint with the superintendent that a person felt intimidated and harassed. And they did not have a policy in place to deal with employees. The HID policies apply only to children, students. So I shared a copy with Mark, and Mark pointed out that we do have a very similar policy. I was aware of my fault, not his. We do have a policy, but that's important because a teacher could be intimidated by another professional in the district. So I gave him a copy of the one that the commission adopted to compare with the one that we currently have. Other than that, zoning board, the zoning board meeting for this month was canceled. It had nothing on the agenda, so they did not have a meeting.
Thank you. Naomi, you told me you had something to add?
Yes, the New Jersey School Boards Association, the Board of Directors meeting, there's just a couple follow-ups from workshop. This year, they have reported that there were over 9,000 school board members registered, and that's a record for training sessions this year. They had a very successful steam tank challenge, and the film festival, the Garden State Film Festival, was very successful as well. They had a lot of strong student performances this year. That was one thing the board of directors had asked and have into the program, was to have students represent and perform at the convention. So that went well. There's also, and I have it here, is the mental health report that they did this year, and this is the total report. I haven't read all of it, I've read about half of it, if anyone is interested in reading it. But the mental health services in public schools, last month, the New Jersey School Boards Association conducted a preliminary rollout of this task force report, and it's going to be also, they received coverage from the National Public Radio and the Star Ledger, and it's going to be, the next process is there's going to be a subcommittee to make sure that these recommendations get pushed forward into school districts. And I was asked if I would be willing to serve on the committee. They're going to pick representation from the north, south, and then in the middle of the state. So there will be a subcommittee meeting probably this spring to follow up on the report. So I have it here if anybody wants to look at it. You can pass it around, whatever you'd like to do. So thank you.
Thank you for representing us, as always, Naomi.
You're welcome.
So I was real fortunate to go to the delegate assembly.
That means you're gonna get it.
Yeah, but I really, just so you know, I took so much from those 5 hours that will never be brought back to me. Mr. Buckheim, Chaz, my buddy Chaz over there,
Right.
they announced that they are creating an ad hoc committee regarding the mental health development, and you immediately came to my mind, and I actually came back to.
Because I'm mentally ill.
No, yeah, I'm just kidding. No, but your interest all along in the development of this, that Larry actually asked during his public speaking for members of local school boards who have an interest, you know, a higher level of interest in this, that could bring either, you know, like situations, experience, and just plain concern to the group. So he asked, you know, everyone in attendance to reach out to their local, you know, their fellow members and say, you immediately came to my mind. Again, he said, if you know of anyone or if anyone's interested, to email them, and they will create the ad hoc committee that will then, you know, put into place many of the programs that each of our districts will benefit, you know, from. In conversation with Ms. DeMatteis in school one day, she said, you know, a lot of what the state is saying is going to be even at some point mandated has been her thought all along. And she said she would be willing to assist any one of our board members with anything being like, you know, for the state, if a board member needed certain information or whatever, that she is so on board with offering any expertise, any whatever. So just, again, if you're interested, and I think you would be incredible because you have offered so much and you do have so much interest in the ad hoc committee and that going forward, and then of course, reaching out to her for, you know, her expertise. She is not here tonight, but she said, if he decides to do this, please, you know, tell him to reach out to me. I'm more than willing. It was very informative. Do you know what I walked away from that meeting with besides the requirement that I needed? We are a very fortunate district. Wow. Like,
Yes.
we really are. I don't think anyone who sends their children to school here, or anyone that sits on this board, truly, I pay way too much attention. And we are very, very fortunate. We really are. The other event, like, very fortunate. And wow. Second thing I attended was just last week, the joint Camden County, Gloucester County. Very brief meeting in the beginning that went into an hour and a half on one topic, social media. We are also a very lucky district. But I would say the PowerPoint that was forwarded to everyone, wholly read it. Read it. Everything you do, say, post, is being followed, including this lawyer from Hamilton was next level on top of his game in terms of citing case law that is currently in New Jersey state courts, in federal court. He was amazing. And he said he was forwarding, I was taking pictures the whole night of the screen. At the end of the night, someone came over and said, he's forwarding the PowerPoint to everybody. Okay. So, but my point being is, he said, even your likes are being followed. He said, if you've deleted it, some of the key points he pointed out at the end, if you've deleted it, it's not gone, just so you know. When this hits the courts, everything that you believe deleted is right there, all social media. He also said This was the best, because his wife came, she wanted to know what he does at these things. So he said, if you all look back, there's no smart decisions made after 11 o'clock at night. They're all fun decisions, and none of them are smart. So if you have an inkling to post something, please put it in your drafts, reread it in the morning, and it's not his exact words, Naomi, right? If it's not something that you would not want read back to you verbatim in front of your mother at a board meeting, please don't post it.
Interesting.
He said, the likes, they're now looking back to people's likes. When, if you refer to someone as a good old boys club, that's now hitting Superior Court. An old duck crowd, it's all, you are chastising someone or criticizing someone's age, and it's not permitted. It's defamation of character in a different form. It was super informative. I'm glad I couldn't see for the last 2 years of my social media experience. It's been very limited.
Speaking of fortunate, I attended the Reimagine Runnemede, large group meeting that Councilwoman, the pizza party.
Eleanor Calloway.
And, you know, I've lived here for 41 years, and I had my dad and my brother with me, and my dad's been here for 67 years, and I just looked around the room and I thought to myself, talking about fortunate, like, there were so many different people I recognized from when I was a child, like, that are now, like, older, like, and I haven't seen them in years, you know, because if they don't have kids, or they're not, like, I don't really run into them, or they're not in my circle, or, like, athletic. It was just really incredible. So they did submit, take all of our advice, and they filled out this application, and they're still in the running for that grant. So keep your lookout for some events held by them, because they are doing some really cool and have incredible ideas, and they just want, everyone is welcome. They just want to help, like, make the town a better place.
Wait, how about the dots? That was the telling to back up what you just said. When they made you put up your dots, what age group? It showed.
You had like different colored dots, and you had to put one for your age group. Then you had to put one for the amount of years you lived in Runnemede. And there was more than a handful of people who lived here for 50+ years there, right? And then there was the most group was like 35 to 50 years. There were so many of us there, people who were a little older than me, a little younger, like it was just amazing. It was really cool. So if they do something like that again, like, I'll stay home so a couple other people can go, because it just was really just getting different perspectives and different viewpoints and things, like, and like what people are worried about and not worried about. It was really cool.
Going back to what Marie said, I'd be very interested in that committee.
We'll get that email.
Please email, and I'll say my friend,
Well, just go to my contact.
Larry was the one that said if you could have any fellow.
Oh, Larry.
Yeah, he was very, like, they already have the company that they're working with to create this, and,
Does anybody want to see the shirt?
yeah, it was very, he said, reach out to your fellow board members.
Thank you for that information. Anything else? If not, we'll move to new business. We good? Everyone good? I'm just waiting for Chaz, so John can have his name. All right. Under property and transportation, I need a motion to approve use of facility and field trips, please. Items numbers 1 and 2.
I'll make the motion to approve
I'll
use of
second.
facilities.
I'm so happy.
Motion made by Naomi, seconded by Maria. Oh, sorry, we already had a second. Any questions there? Roll call?
Mrs. Dare?
Yes.
Ms. Beebe?
Yes.
Mr. Buckheim?
Yes.
Ms. Davidson?
Yes.
Mr. Lego?
Yes.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
Ms. Panzarella?
Yes.
Ms. Sams? Ms. Spalding?
Yes, sorry.
Motion passes.
Under personnel, I need a motion to approve items numbers 1 through 6.
I'll make that motion to approve items 1 through 6.
I'll second it.
Motion made by Angel, seconded by Chaz. Any questions? Roll call.
Mrs. Dare?
Yes.
Ms. Beebe?
Yes.
Mr. Buckheim?
Yes.
Ms. Davidson?
Yes.
Mr. Lego?
Yes.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
Ms. Panzarella?
Yes.
Ms. Sams? Ms. Spalding?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Under finance, I need a motion to approve items numbers 1 through 6.
I'll make that motion to approve items number 1 through 6.
Thank you, Dennis. Motion made by Dennis,
Second.
second by Dan. Any questions there, 1 through 6? Roll call.
Mrs. Dare?
Yes.
Ms. Beebe?
Yes.
Mr. Buckheim?
Yes.
Ms. Davidson,
Yes.
Mr. Lego,
Yes.
Mr. Murray,
Yes.
Ms. Panzarella,
Yes.
Ms. Samms,
Yes.
Ms. Spalding.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Under curriculum, we need a motion for items numbers 1 through 3.
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Chaz,
I'll second.
seconded by Patty. Any questions? Roll call.
Ms. Adair,
Yes.
Ms. Beebe,
Yes.
Mr. Buckheim,
Yes.
Ms. Davidson,
Yes.
Mr. Lego,
Yes.
Mr. Murray,
Yes.
Ms. Panzarella,
Yes.
Ms. Samms,
Yes.
Ms. Spalding.
Yes.
Where's the flamer? The pause.
I needed to abstain.
You want to switch it before we go?
No.
All right. Under policy and public relations, I need a motion to approve items numbers 1 through 3.
I'll make that motion for items 1 through 3.
Motion made by Dennis,
Second.
seconded by Naomi. Any questions? Roll call.
Ms. Adair,
Yes.
Ms. Beebe,
Yes.
Mr. Buckheim,
Yes.
Ms. Davidson,
Yes.
Mr. Lego,
Yes.
Mr. Murray,
Yes.
Ms. Panzarella,
Yes.
Ms. Samms,
Yes.
Ms. Spalding.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. All right, at this time, we are open for public comment. At this time, does anyone in the audience have any public comment? If there's no public comment, we do not have executive session this evening. And can we talk about reorganization? It's going, our date that we secured, so like for the town and different people is January 7th. So please make sure you mark that in the calendar, because it's, I mean, not that we have an attendance issue, but it is very important. What time?
7 p.m.
Next year we did 6:30.
You can always-
What's the matter?
It's hard to get from me.
Keep it at 7?
Oh, I have it.
We have New York. Do you have a public comment?
Yes, I'm
Yes,
sorry.
just say-
I'm new to this.
That's
I have
okay.
no idea what I'm
No,
doing.
no, please, just state your name and address, please.
Okay,
You don't-
I'm
just-
Charlene Wagner, and my address is 557 Iva Court in Runnemede.
Hi,
Hi.
how can I help you? We help you.
Okay, so I come here today between a rock and a hard place. I'm an employee, but I'm also, most importantly, a parent. And I'm looking for help. I'm not looking for hardship. I'm not looking to amend any rules, change any rules. My biggest problem over the last 7 years is that my middle daughter has been picked on, poked at, prodded at. Words are words. I try to teach her to let it go and move on. In the years of doing that, on Wednesday, she was trying to do just that from an incident that happened on Tuesday. But on Wednesday, as she was departing to school, one boy, two-handed, shoved her into a wall. She hurt her arm. She immediately broke down and cried at her locker. She came home. She was so upset, I allowed her to skip the school the next day to take a little fear out of her. And when she came back, she was addressed with the counselor. And it came to our attention that there was no evidence to support it. My student has made honor roll from 4th grade to 7th grade, every marking period except for one. She has never been in trouble in school, she's never picked on anybody, and she's never outcast anybody. However, she now feels let down. She feels that her word is untrusted by anyone trying to help her, and has also seen there's no repercussion that this other child is facing for the actions that they chose to make. With that being said, I would like to see if there's any way something can be done. I'm not asking on a state level, I'm asking on a community level to try to get these kids to just live in harmony. And I know we've all been trying to do that, but all the punishments that are being passed out as far as lunch detentions are not strict enough for them. I know if my child was to put her hands on another child, there would be so many consequences at home, but I know there's also a limit as to what you can say to another parent as to what happened. But I really believe the parent should know exactly what their child did, what their child said, maybe not to whom, but I think they should know how their child is acting, and that maybe that parent could then control something. Because I actually approached a parent that her child was picking on mine, and she said, had I would have known what he was saying and how it made her felt, it would have totally been different, other than me hearing, I can't tell you anything, just that your child is being looked into. So I'm kind of here to see if there's any way that anything can be done, not at a state level, but here in our town.
So just so you know, the board is not privy to like that incident, like where we don't like get
I
like,
know.
because it's confidential, because we respect everyone's privacy and confidentiality. So that's number one. So we have no idea until you just said right now, like what's happening, or we
Oh, I
would
have
never
no
really
idea
know that.
what to do.
Right, no,
Yeah.
But I also wanted to say, also, like, you're a parent and a member of the community, and no matter what your job is, you're always a parent first. So you never, ever should not advocate for your child, because that's your number one job. Okay?
That's
And-
kind of why I came here, because that's what I felt.
because I also live where I here too and teach here too, so I actually probably feel your pain more than anyone up here. Right, I understand where you're at. You are stuck between a rock and a hard place. But now that you got up and you spoke and you advocated for your child, now we can also do that for her too. So I can't promise anything tonight, but I will 100% promise you a discussion.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Any other public comment? Okay. So we're going to keep that at 7 p.m., January 7th. Yes? Reorg, 7, not 6:30. Here, correct?
That's the same as the county reorg, so
It is? What time is theirs?
I think it's,
I thought we tried to avoid that issue.
Yeah, but it's the way it fell this year. They have an adjourned meeting on the 30th, and now they're going right to reorg.
I think it's from, so.
I'm pretty sure.
Ours was good, that was on the first 15, so.
Gotcha.
we count.
Yeah, they did the adjourned meeting on the 12th.
So the reason why we did 6:30 last year is so we could do our
Get to
meeting
the-
real quick and
then
get
get
there.
to, yep. Do you remember that?
So is there any way that we can make that work, 6:30? So we can get there, because I know there's people here who have friends that are newly elected.
I'll work on changing my appointment.
Does anyone else have an issue at 6:30? Okay, then let's keep it at 6:30 so we can get in. We will be starting at 6:29 in 45 seconds. All right, 6:30 then. So Dr. McCarron, can you please change that? All right. At this time, I need a motion to adjourn. Motion made by Maria,
Second?
seconded by Naomi. All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Everyone have a wonderful holiday.